In a lot of games, points are granted with either a positive or negative value to a player or team based upon card sets or hands played. But on occasion, points are assigned to that of individual cards, which will then influence the score a player or team is to receive. In situations like this, with the score that a player or team has obtained, it is to have an influence on future hands. This in turn will have an influence on the points the player or team is to receive further down the road, which is then to be fed back into this scoring system. Greetings and welcome back to Checkpoint Gaming Canasta. With this episode, we'll be going over scoring. When keeping score, it can be done upon a score pad or scrap of paper with 2 columns found upon it. With each column, it is used to keep track of each team's score, and they have to be properly labeled. Regarding each entry that is recorded upon the score sheet, it should possess all of the scores obtained from the previous deals, along with the accumulated totals. Besides being used to keep track of the overall score, it also helps to determine the initial meld requirements. When a given hand comes to an end, the scoring process is to occur with partners scoring together in the following manner. First, they total the value of all cards that they have melded. Second, they total the value of any bonuses that they have earned and add it to their score. And third, they subtract the total value of any cards that they have remaining in their hands. With that said, some versions of the game score points for incomplete canastas, which are just melds that possess less than 7 cards, while other versions only count complete canastas, with incomplete canastas scoring negative points. With the card values, they consist of the following. With jokers, they're worth 50 points each. With 2s and aces, they're worth 20 points each. With 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, and kings, they're worth 10 points each. With 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and black 3s, they're worth 5 points each. And with red 3s, they're worth 100 points each. But if a team is in possession of all 4 red 3s, the value of each red 3 doubles, thus making all 4 worth 800 points. A variant to the scoring of red 3s requires the team to possess 2 canastas to score the associated points, deducting said points if they don't have any canastas, and it being a wash if they have 1 canasta. In either case, if a player fails to lay out a red 3 before the game comes to an end, then they're to receive a 500-point penalty. When it comes to bonus points, they're added to the team's score, and they consist of the following. When going out unconcealed, they're to score 100 points. But if they go out while concealed, they score 200 points. If a team possesses a natural canasta, they're to score 500 points, while a dirty canasta scores 300 points. And with a wild card canasta, it is worth 1,000 points. But if a canasta possesses more than 7 cards, no additional points are added to the score. This makes us think of gin rummy, where additional points are added if a player goes out with an 11-card gin. In our research, we saw that the team that didn't meld have the points found in their hand be subtracted from their score. If playing to 8,500 points, there are some additional values involved. If a team gets a wild card canasta or a natural canasta that is either all aces or 7s, they will score 2,500 points. With a wild card canasta that possesses 4 jokers, they will score 3,000 points. And if they obtain a canasta that is all 2s, they will score 4,000 points. It is worth noting that with traditional play, the card values count towards the bonuses of the created canastas. With that said, when it comes to the point count that is left within a player's hand at the end of a deal, they're to be subtracted from the team's score. This holds true even if said cards could have been used to create a meld or incorporated into one. And when it comes to the margin of victory, it consists of the difference found between the scores of the 2 sides. In our research, we noticed that penalties can also be implemented during gameplay beyond what was already addressed and are connected with that of an 8,500-point game. If a team doesn't make its initial meld, any bonus card melds will count against them at a negative 100 points, and if they have all 4 bonus cards melded, then it's a negative 800 points. If either player possesses a red 3, their team will receive negative 100 points. But if they possess all 4 red 3s, they receive negative 800 points. And failure to immediately declare any red 3s will result in negative 500 points. When it comes to any remaining cards found in a player's hand, they will also count against the team with their standard values being subtracted from their score. And failing to make any melds at the end of play will have its point value subtracted from their score. If a player has 3 or more aces or 7s in their hand at the end of the game, then they will lose 1,500 points. But if a team possesses 3 or more aces or 7s left in both of their hands at the end of the game, they will lose 3,000 points. And if a player possesses 3 or more aces or 7s on the table at the end of the game, then they will lose 2,500 points. but if a team possesses 3 or more aces or sevens left on the table at the end of the game, they will lose 5,000 points. And if a team possesses an incomplete wildcard canasta, they will lose 2,500 points. With an incomplete canasta, it is just a meld that possesses less than 7 cards. But if they possess no canastas at all, then all points will count as negative, including the minus full 3-point counts. And if one canasta closes for a team, then no credit will be given for threes. At this point, we'd like to touch upon splash hands, which is a hand that consists of 14 cards with no discard. If a player possesses a splash hand and their partner hasn't opened, then the player is to lay out their splash hand with the hand coming to an end and their team scoring 3,000 points, regardless of the splash hand type. The other team won't get any points, with no negative points being applied to their score. On top of this, no duplicate pairs are allowed to be found in any of the splash hands. With the splash hands, they consist of the following types. First is an ace through king plus a joker. Second is 7 pairs with no wild cards. Third is 7 pairs with a pair of 2 or a pair of jokers, but not both, along with the hand possessing 7s and aces. Fourth is 3 4s and a 2, where this pair having to possess 2 2s or 2 jokers and no wild cards. Fifth is 4 3s and a 2 with a pair having 2 2s or 2 jokers and no wild cards. Sixth is 1 4, 2 3s and 2 2s with no wild cards. And seventh is 2 4s and 2 3s with no wild cards. It is worth noting that if a player is setting themselves up to open with a splash hand and the final card they need is placed into the discard pile, said player can only pick up the card if it's the only card found in the discard pile. But if there are other cards found under the desired card, they can't take said card for them to use as part of their splash hand. So with that said, that is what you need to know about scoring for Canasta. With that taken care of, we can start talking about variants. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like. And if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.